If your business is doing somewhere between 20 and 50K a month, you are in the most dangerous stage of actually growing your business. Not because the business is failing, but because it looks like it's working while the foundation underneath is really unstable. This is the stage where the founders usually start hiring too early, start scaling marketing too aggressively. They're already thinking about scaling ads, starting to put most of the budget in the actual ads itself, or start actually losing profit without understanding why, and slowly build a business that feels heavier actually every single month. And most of the time, they don't realize it until the stress starts showing up in the actual numbers itself. A lot of founders at this stage, when they look at the numbers, they'd be like, well, I'm making the money, but the profit isn't there, right? So today I'm going to show you why this stage is so dangerous, what founders typically experience here, and what systems must exist before you try to grow any further. This is going to be one of the most important videos you can actually currently watch if your business is doing anywhere between 25 and 50K a month, because this entire video is all about understanding. So as I mentioned, this is going to be one of the most important videos you can actually watch if your business is currently sitting on 20 to 50K, because this stage is really dangerous for most service businesses and most agencies, because there's a lot of hidden flaws inside of the business that we as founders sometimes don't see. So by watching this entire video, by watching this entire training, you will understand, number one, why 20 to 50K is the most fragile stage in service business. Number two, the structural problem that creates revenue swings and actual stress. Number two, why growth suddenly starts feeling heavier instead of actually easier. And number four, the three systems missing in most businesses at this stage. I'm going to show you the systems. I'm going to show you how to install them so you can actually stabilize your business and scale past the 40K a month. Also, number five, the financial numbers every founder must understand here. Okay. After speaking to like thousands of business owners, I can honestly tell you 70% of them don't know their actual numbers. Number six, how to stabilize the business before scaling to 100K a month. I'm going to give you all the systems and everything you need in order for you to get past the 40, past the 30, if you are past the 20K, so you can easily scale to 100K a month while your business is still stabilized. With that being said, let's get into the video. So the first thing I want to cover is why 20K and 50K feels like success, but it actually hides a lot of risks. Some time ago, I was running an agency. We were concentrating mostly on running just ads itself. We were doing about 40K a month. And for a very long period of time, me and my partner, we were like kind of stressed out, consistently under pressure to deliver and meet all the deadlines as well. We were kind of taking care of the sales, delivery as well. We tried to hire, and there's a lot of inconsistencies inside of the business. One of the biggest reasons was because we didn't understand the numbers, and we didn't understand what type of systems and what type of structures need to go actually into the business to stabilize. Like, we hired people, but then the people turn out not to really understand what we wanted them to do. So we are consistently in stress, telling them what to do. They're all consistently coming to us with questions, approvals. They need to validate ideas, what they're working on. There's a lot of inconsistencies in communication between actual customers as well. Then the customers were not happy. There was always like messaging consistently in Slack. Then the team didn't know what to do, so we need to actually connect. And it was like kind of big mess, and we were kind of operating in actual chaos most of the time. Okay. Now, we still were doing 40K. Now, another big thing was that the 40K wasn't coming from just one consistent, controllable actual demand channel. It was consistently coming in from, hey, we have setters there, we have a few referrals there, and hey, you DM'd somebody there a couple months ago. How's that going? Oh, you getting me in? Okay. And all of these little actions were adding up that 40K a month. But it wasn't controllable, systemized, predictable, because we were dipping our hands into multiple channels to get that 40K. Sometimes we swinged anywhere between, we were some months on 30, some months on 12, and then we would be on some months on 0. Like, so the inconsistencies was consistently there as well. We didn't have all the right systems to hire people as well. So a lot of things happening. And this entire experience is what really gave me the courage to actually look past of what is needed. Okay. So this is why I want to just share my own backstory, just to tell you a little bit more about how this felt for me being at this actual stage as well. And obviously now, as we are doing over 100K a month, current agency systems for scaling, we are doing anywhere between 100 and 200K a month. But once we were at 40K with another agency, unfortunately that agency had to shut down. But yeah, that was really stressful as well. And obviously scaling my next agency, I understood all the systems that had to be installed so this doesn't happen. So most founders reach 20 to 50K because they are good at selling and delivering, and we were really good at selling. At this stage, you are proving your offer works because your market has accepted it, some parts of your actual offer, so that means you can sell it. People are willing to pay you. You can produce results. Referrals may be starting to come in as well. And that's a huge milestone, okay? But the reality behind numbers often looks like this. Your revenue maybe is like 35K, right? Your delivery cost then would be 20K, tools plus software 3K, contractors 6K, profit maybe 6K, okay? Now for these numbers, for everybody could be completely different. You need to though pay attention to these numbers. You need to ask yourself, okay, what's the revenue that we are currently getting in monthly, and what is the delivery cost? Okay, what does it actually cost us to deliver for each client? And the cost is not only like how much you pay for subscriptions, you also need to calculate the time, and you need to really also calculate the time that how much is your value in the company as well, because you're also getting paid an hour, because every hour you spend in the company adds a certain amount of value, and so that value equals an actual dollar. That dollar amount equals the value you can deliver to your own company. So you really need to calculate also how much value you can deliver in an hour and how much the value is actually worth in terms of actual money as well, okay? And then obviously your team and everything as well. And then tools and softwares you use, contractors maybe you'll be paying as well, and then profit as well, okay? So at that stage, if you are doing revenue, let's say 35K, delivery cost 20K, tools, software 3K, contractors 6K, and then profit is maybe around 6K. So your revenue looks impressive from the outside, right? Because it's like, hey, we're generating 35K. You're telling somebody that you are making 35K as a business owner, and they'll be like, okay, that's really good. But the margins are really thin then, right? And that's where things become really dangerous, because growth adds pressure to weak actual systems, right? So what founders actually feel at this stage? Most founders around 20 to 50K feel a mix of one, pressure, right? Clients expect more. Their business is no longer like a side project. Now it's a real actual company. Now you have clients coming in, you have delivery to be met as well, you have deadlines there. Most of you also have guarantees that you have guaranteed, right? And sometimes some of these guarantees, I will tell you honestly, sometimes we may read a book about Alex Hormozi or any other big entrepreneur, and they say, hey, you must include guarantees because like these guarantees will help you to get more clients. And sometimes I have seen agencies that say, hey, sometimes I say we have seen agencies that say, hey, I'm gonna get you, let's say 20 booked qualified calls in 45 days, or we will give you your money back. And so what ends up happening is these type of guarantees also add a lot of pressure on the actual founder himself as well. Why? Because a guarantee is either you deliver the client the results or you have to give them the money, and everything is around the performance of how well you actually can deliver the results. Now, sometimes where the pressure comes in is that you have contractors to pay out, right? Maybe there's people that you're paying out and you have used the client's money to pay out, and you know that you can pay back you can't refund them the full money because you already have spent most of the money on the actual project. So maybe they paid you 5K and you already paid contractor 2K, and then you already had paid 500 for something else, and then you have a subscription. Now you're like, I don't even have the 5K, so I have to deliver the results, which adds more and more pressure because clients now are expecting more from you as well, right? And you don't have like a side project where you say, hey, I'm going to help you. Now you have like a guarantee involved, which puts a lot of pressure on you. And because now you're running real offer, real company with real clients that are paying, okay? Second thing is uncertainty. Revenue is inconsistent, right? 1 month you'll be maybe hitting 45K. The next you are doing 28K, right? Nothing catastrophic is happening. You're still generating revenue, but the instability is what's creating stress consistently. So maybe you have really great going, you kind of build momentum, you have a bigger pipeline value for this month. There's a lot of deals coming on from the last month into this month. People are converting this month more, right? You kind of were really heavy on the marketing for the last 2 months. Now a lot of deals are coming through and you're like, hey, we are about to hit maybe 40, 50K this month, right? Great. And just because you haven't done the marketing like let's say last month really heavy, you did it like 2 months heavily, and last month not so heavy. Now you get to, let's say, 40K, 45, maybe 50K, and now you are like, okay, so now we actually need to deliver all these clients. So now you spend more time on actually delivering the clients. And now what ends up happening is, because you didn't spend so much time on marketing last month, now in the next month you're like, we don't have so many deals coming in because there's only few coming in. So now you're sitting like, instead of 50, you're sitting on 20 or maybe 28, right? And because you don't have that consistent marketing coming inside of the business as well. And that creates also instability. And instability also creates a lot of revenue swings. And revenue swings are adding a lot of pressure to you, because now you can't calculate actual profitability, and you can't calculate actual revenue and predictability inside of your business as well, okay? And that also creates a lot of stress on you. So, number 3 is responsibility. Team members may depend on the company. You might have contractors, employees, or freelancers. Suddenly the business isn't just about you anymore. Now there's other people coming to you. You need to manage people. You need to make sure that everybody's delivering, everybody's moving at the same speed. Things are being done, things are being completed. You can keep moving forward as well, okay? So now there's a lot of responsibility than when you were getting your first 2, 3, 4 clients, right? Now the responsibilities are much more. Cool. Number 4 is mental overload. You're responsible for sales, delivery, hiring, client communication, operations, and finance. And everything flows through you. And that's the hidden risk, because now everything is on you, and you feel like, okay, with more clients, I'm actually getting more heavier. The months are getting heavier because I'm adding more pressure, more stress on me. And this just shows how much you are missing the right systems inside of your business to kind of stabilize the business so you don't have so much pressure, right? So why this stage is structurally dangerous? There are 3 structural weaknesses almost every business has between 20 and 50K. Not because the founder is bad, not because you are a bad operator or not motivated or you don't want to grow, but because the business grows faster than the actual systems itself. Sometimes we think about how let's get clients, let's get like more clients in, let's get more money, let's grow, let's run ads, let's get some people in. And all of this is great, but one thing we sometimes forget is like, what about the structures that need to go in order for us to really stabilize the growth? Because sometimes we think about, okay, let's just build stairs. Let's just stair by stair by stair by stair. And then suddenly we look like, hey, some of these stairs are not structurally like stable. And I feel like the entire staircase is like, woo, we are going from a place to place. And so that means that you need to get the right structure and the right foundation in place in order for you to stabilize it, okay? So, problem number 1 is demand is inconsistent, right? Most businesses here rely on referrals, word of mouth, occasional outreaches, random marketing efforts. So this could be like, maybe you DM, maybe you have like a setter there and now doing some work as well. Maybe you send like couple emails out, you maybe do a little bit of DMs, and then you maybe have some content coming in, right? You have like kind of mixed bag of how you get your leads in and how you get your calls. And listen, this works early, but it creates unpredictable actual revenue. And unpredictable revenue means you cannot really forecast for the next, say, 30, 60 days. You can't forecast and tell, hey, this is exact how much the pipeline value is currently sitting on it, and this is how much is our conversion rate, and this is how much we should be coming out at the next 30, 60 days, okay? So example 1, month 1 is maybe 2 referrals come in equals 30K. Month 2, 0 referrals equals 12K, right? The founder thinks demand disappeared, but in reality, there was never a demand system. A demand system means that you can control. It's like a tap water. You open tap water and the water actually starts coming out. And then when you close the tap, the water stops. That means you have control over the actual tap water coming out, right? And so the same should apply inside of your business. You should have the right system that you can actually control. So a little bit more about the demand system. The demand system, the real demand system answers one simple question. How many conversations do we need to generate to have predictable revenue, right? So to give you the maths, let's say revenue target is 50K, okay? Average deal for us is like 5K. How many deals do we need? We need 10 deals. We need to close 10 deals to get to 50K. If your close rate is, let's say, 25%, you need 40 sales conversations. Now growth becomes measurable, because now you can start growing, by actually measuring of what the growth actually looks like. If you don't know these numbers, okay, then that really is becoming the problem. The second thing is, problem two is delivery becomes chaotic. When business grows, delivery complexity increases really fast as well. Because sometimes what ends up happening, what happened to our agency is like we would onboard clients, but every client would have completely different onboarding. Now we followed some structures, we followed some processes, we onboarded them, but then the communication will look completely different. Like somebody would say, like, I would like you to communicate with me for the first 2 weeks, really like, I would like to have like update every single week. Some clients would be like, hey, I need to jump in every Wednesday, so we need to have a call, I need to see what's happening. And because we felt like that's normal, we just like kind of went, okay, let's just adjust to the clients. And what ended up happening is every client that came on had a different way of like communicating. And that was just adding more stress. And then I had a guy who was doing emails and everything, trying to run for them as well. And what happened was that he couldn't deliver and I couldn't explain why they're not working. So I said, hey, can you jump on a call and explain to them why it's not working? And so now the guy that's responsible for actually delivering, he's jumping on a call with the clients. And then I would be closing, and then the other partner, he would sometimes be like in between the calls with communication with clients, and then sometimes he'd be like all three on the call talking. And this would take so much time away, right? So when business grows, delivery complexity also increases fast, right? Client one needs like 10 hours per week, client two needs 5 hours per week, client three suddenly needs like 20 hours because of the scope creep, right? Without structure, this creates a lot of chaos. You need to have structures like, how do we communicate? There's boundaries, do not cross the line. That's how we communicate. That's how we work together, okay? So you need to have that early inside of your business. You need to be like, hey, we only gonna be communicating this way, and we're gonna do reviews this way. You cannot adjust to each client, because by adjusting to each client, you are literally taking yourself away from scaling your business, growing your business, and spending that most important time inside of your business, because your clients can easily take you away from your business just by the over communication, okay? So the delivery system, high performing service businesses create repeatable delivery stages. So example, you have repeatable onboarding, repeatable strategy, execution, optimization, and reporting. Instead of reinventing the process every single time of how you onboard them, what's the strategy, how we're going to execute, optimize, and report, you have a process for doing that. Like reporting means like, instead of like messaging them, jumping on a Zoom, giving them updates over that, you maybe have a reporting that you like send them a loom every single Friday, right? And that loom is then the report of what's happening. It's just it's a template already. So it's not like you are making that loom from scratch, but you already have a template of what you're gonna exactly give them, okay? So this reduces also time, mistakes, and team confusion as well. Okay, so then the problem three is the founder is the main system. This is the biggest issue. At 20 to 50K, the founder is usually responsible for closing deals, solving client problems, managing the team, reviewing the work, and making decisions. Everything flows through one person. And that creates growth actual ceiling, because you are the main guy that's growing the business. Now you are responsible for everything, and that caps your actual growth because you have too much on your actual plate, okay? So the founder bottleneck. Imagine a business doing around 40K a month, okay? If the founder works 60 hours per week and the team still needs guidance, the real constraint is not demand, it's decision flow. Every business has a speed. And if every decision must go through one person, then that growth actually starts to slow down as well, okay? And then this is really important, what we're going to be discussing now is the financial danger. Most founders underestimate the financial side of this actual stage. Example, so let's say your revenue is 40K like we had, our delivery cost is like 22K, team was costing us 8K, tools were costing us 3K, and the profit was 7K. So now imagine losing one client worth 8K. Okay, so suddenly you are in minus. Okay, because if you have such a high operational costs, and you have really thin margins, you cannot afford to lose clients. And this is why sometimes those guarantees like, hey, either we get you the results or we guarantee you money back, or even something more crazy like, hey, either we get you the results or we give you the money back and plus 1K. And now obviously when the client looks at that, like, hey, there's no risk involved, I'm going for the offer. But then again, you need to think about, can you actually deliver that? Because if you can, you're just putting too much risk on yourself, okay? So next one. The three systems that stabilize this stage, right? To move beyond the stage safely, three systems must exist. And these systems exactly is what are going to help you to not only get past 20, 30, 40, 50K, but also going to help you to stabilize your business and scale past the 100K a month as well, okay? So system one is demand system, a predictable method to generate leads and sales conversations. This could include like outbound outreach, content marketing, paid traffic, partnerships, or LinkedIn prospecting. But there's the rule of thumb: consistent pipeline flow. Okay, you must produce consistent pipeline flow. You cannot have like, hey, this month we got two leads from LinkedIn, we got 2 from partnership, 1 from paid traffic, 3 from content marketing, and 1 from outbound. And next month all those numbers change. No, you need to have that consistency. If you don't have consistency, you really have a problem. And that's why you need to have a demand that you can actually control. Okay. System 2 is delivery system, a structured way to deliver service consistently. So key components here would be standardized onboarding, right? Standardize your onboarding. The way you do it with one client should be done with all the clients together. Define deliverables, right? Define what is going to be delivered, what's not going to be delivered, what is it actually going to look. And then capacity planning, like how do you actually plan, what are the communication and everything else as well. And that should be delivered to all the clients the same. Now, some clients, obviously, you will say, hey, have different projects, have different changes. That's good. Deliverables will maybe a little bit change, but they have to be defined. So it doesn't like misalign with the actual client when you're actually communicating. And then also repeatable workflows. This prevents the team from actually constantly reinventing the actual work. System 3, visibility system. This is really important. Most founders run their business without clear numbers. I already said, after speaking to like thousands of founders, I can honestly tell you maybe 70% of them actually know their numbers, okay? 70% of them don't know their numbers and 30% know their numbers, okay? So a weekly operator dashboard should track leads generated, sales conversations, deals closed, pipeline value, delivery capacity, and profit margins. Without visibility, founders react emotionally, okay? And that's really important. Like without the visibility, without you seeing those numbers, you will just be reacting emotionally. With numbers, decisions become much clearer. Let's say we generated leads there, we have sales conversations, but we didn't close so many deals. So now we're like, okay, hey, listen, we're not closing so many deals, but we are generating the right conversations. So with that being said, what's the issue? It could be that we don't have a good closing ratio. It could be that maybe we're speaking unqualified leads, okay? So then you can have that calculation and the math behind it of what's going wrong in the business and how to actually fix it. So the mental shift that must happen inside of your business quickly. Early business stage rewards effort, okay? Because effort is the only thing that will scale your business at the start. Later stages, once you get past the effort stage is anywhere between 20, 30K, okay? You get to 30K, you probably need to stop with effort because you're eventually going to break your business. After that stage, you need to have the right structures. At 10K, working harder works. At 30K, working harder creates stress, okay? At 50K, only systems allowed to grow past the 50K plus, okay? So what founders should focus on instead? Instead of chasing new marketing tactics, new services, new tools, focus on building predictable demand, structured delivery, and operational visibility. These 3 systems stabilize the business itself, right? Predictable demand, like you control the outcome. Let's say, hey, we spoke to LinkedIn, gave us 10 leads this month, it's going to give us 10 leads next month. So that's controllable, predictable demand. It's not consistent and predictable if it's like, hey, LinkedIn gave us 2 today, next month it gave us 15. Like that's not predictable because you are all the time in swings. So you need to have that predictability. Then structured delivery, that should be also standardized. You should work out of templates, you should work out of having boundaries with your client, setting the actual alignment as well. Your onboarding should be the same with every client. That really matters. And operational visibility, where you see the actual numbers in real time to really understand what's happening with the actual business as well, okay? These 3 systems will help you to stabilize the business, not only stabilize, also scale your business. So we worked with an agency that was doing about 35K per month. The problem looked like actual demand, okay? But after we jumped on a call, analyzed and understood the numbers, we found that there was no pipeline tracking. So like, hey, we need more leads, but like how big value of the pipeline you couldn't have, like how much you have sitting there. You couldn't answer that question. The delivery hours also were inconsistent. Like some clients suddenly took 3 hours to deliver, some were 5 and 6. Like there was a huge change. And then another problem was founder was involved in absolutely every decision as well. It was like, hey, the Team is coming in for approval. They need to know if this is done correctly or not. I need to communicate with clients as well, make sure I can jump on a call, walk them through everything what's happening as well. And all of this was creating a lot of inconsistencies in the business as well, because the founders was taken away from the most important task in their business, which is growing their business. So we installed 3 simple systems. We installed demand tracking, delivery structure, and then weekly metric dashboard. That completely changed everything, because now we're not operating from a place of emotion, we operated from a place of actual stability and certainty, because numbers told us exactly what's working and what's not working. Delivery also stabilized, because then the team understood exactly what are the tasks, what needs to be done. They actually can be trained in the process, and we can add a KPI to that. And demand tracking was, we understood what is the predictability and what's the forecasting as well. So within 90 days, revenue stabilized around 55K, but more importantly, the business felt much calmer as well. Okay. So obviously some of you will say, well, why 55K? Like, because I have seen some of your results are like 90 days, you're scaling 100, 200. Some businesses don't want to scale to 100. Some businesses just like, we have people that have businesses and they love to be sitting at that number because that's controllable for them. And obviously, once you want to scale past that number, it is demanding to have more systems, more sharper systems. Like, you need to have better hiring, you need to have better talent attracted to your business. There's a lot of things changes. So final perspective to give you of this entire video: 20 to 50K stage is really dangerous, not because the business is weak, but because it looks stronger than in reality actually it is. Revenue gives you the illusion of stability because you're making that money, but systems is what actually creates stability. Revenue is just tells you, hey, this is how much we're getting. But when you look at your profitability and you look at your time delivered and everything else and how much you are involved, that ultimately tells you the reality of what's actually happening. And founders who recognize this early are the ones who successfully scale towards the 100K months. If you are currently operating between 20 and 50K per month, the goal right now is not just growth itself, it's to actually have the stabilization of your business and the structure. Because the business that installs systems at this stage are ones that usually scale much smoother and can go through harder times as well. Okay? So with that being said, if you got a lot of value out from this video as well, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss videos like this, so you can actually understand what's happening with your business, you can analyze your business, you can diagnose your business, so you can understand how to actually scale your business. Everything I'm giving you is from my personal experience of selling businesses, building businesses, losing businesses as well. Comment down below if you need any additional help. You maybe want a content piece that I actually make as well. And another thing is, make sure that you also click the subscribe, not only subscribe, but actually the bell itself, so you don't miss content coming out. I put out content weekly as well. With that being said, go over this video one more time just to make sure that all the systems are there as well for you. Take notes if you need, and if you have any questions, comment down below and I will make sure I answer as well.